A person stands near a railing by the water at night, then removes their shoes and places them beside a sealed envelope on the ground. A character stands by the water, then lifts a bare foot over the railing. A figure falls downward into water while text asks about reincarnation and promises answers soon. Yuichi floats underwater, holding his nose, while a text appears stating, "Oh. There is one question I forgot to ask." Then he continues sinking deeper. Yuichi Shiro faces a figure holding a side standing on a rock surrounded by flames, while text questions if someone who died can get a second chance at life. A woman asks Yuna to wake Yuichi. Yuna agrees and walks up the stairs toward Yuichi's room while hearing repeated voices saying, "You looking at me?" Sakura stands by Yuichi's door, reacting to voices from inside, then bangs on the door shouting "Hey," as Yuichi looks away silently. Sakura reacts with surprise to Yuichi's compliment about her uniform, then he urges her to hurry downstairs, while she looks hesitant. Yuichi Shiro stands in front of a mirror, greeting someone named Yuna with "Good morning." Yuichi notices the time on the clock and comments on how fast it passed while admiring himself. Sakura asks how long he was looking, and he answers 3 hours. Yuichi waves his hand while speaking to Sakura, who looks at him silently, then both exchange the words seriously with different expressions. Sakura tells Yuichi to hurry because they will be late. He teases her about watching him change, then she slams the door, hitting him. Yuichi lies on the ground while Sakura turns away, and he demands to know where Yuna went, insisting she never existed and telling her to hurry up and get ready. Yuichi reacts to a clock thrown at him while Sakura questions what kind of brother encourages his sister to watch him change, refusing to say more. The boy introduces Ren Kirai as his best friend and the girl as Sakura Kirai, Ren's little sister. Sakura raises her hand to call out, but Yuichi covers her mouth, saying to keep quiet and preserve the surprise. Then he thinks about needing skinship with her to heal his crushed heart. Yuichi ignores Sakura's question while doing push-ups, then suddenly dashes forward as she reacts with surprise. Sakura shouts a warning to her brother as he rides a bicycle, and Yuichi tells him not to run out onto the road. A girl warns to look out, a boy reacts with a TCH, and 2 others ask Yuichi what he is doing. A boy shouts to get out of the way while a girl calls senpai. Yuichi looks confused and says "huh," in 3 different angles. Yuichi Shiro sits on the ground holding his head, saying his body feels hit by a truck, then notices a stomp nearby and looks up in surprise. Speaks to Alicia Pandemonium, who questions how the girl knows him, while Yuichi looks surprised and confused. Yuichi thinks about the possibility that she knows him, but he does not know her, considering what that could mean. Yuichi accuses Alicia of being a stalker and a member of his secret underground fan club, while she questions the existence of such a fan club, then they both fall silent facing each other. Yuichi Shiro states that lack of evidence doesn't disprove possibility. Alicia Pandemonium replies, "In other words, no." Then she comments on unique people in first place. Sakura questions Yuichi about waking up in a strange place, while he thinks about what to ask Alicia and decides to prioritize his questions first. Yuichi Shiro thinks much better, then Alicia Pandemonium asks him about his 3 sizes, and he responds with refusal. Yuichi falls to the ground while Alicia stands holding a scythe, and they exchange words about Yuichi's condition and the seriousness of his injury. Yuichi argues he can't die from a mere hit, while Alicia calmly states he is already dead and has come to claim his soul. Yuichi Shiro lies on the ground, struggling and shouting no, while Sakura Kirai looks down at him, questioning his concern about being a virgin. Yuichi argues with the cloaked figure about the importance of virginity versus seeing friends and family, while the scale visually balances these 2 concepts. Yuichi imagines a funeral scene where a speaker announces Yuichi's life was tragically cut short, while a girl calls out Oniai-chan and 2 others say senpai and Yuichi. 3 girls with anomalies call out to Yuichi using different honorifics, while a note explains they are creations of his imagination and do not exist in reality. A man addresses Yuichi as his friend, telling him he died a virgin, causing Yuichi to react with shock, while another boy vows to fill Yuichi's quota and share everything when they meet again. Yuichi shouts, "Like hell you will," while Alicia asks about his daydreaming, and he responds that it was just a dream. Yuichi asks about returning after confirming Alicia is a reaper, then expresses willingness to lose his virginity or transfer worlds, while she dismisses the idea and begins to explain. Alicia tells Yuichi he can be revived if he defeats her in a game, warning that if she wins, she will take his soul, while Yuichi reacts with surprise. Yuichi asks Alicia if he can challenge her to any game, she agrees, then he inquires her name, and she responds with Alicia Pandemonium. Yuichi challenges Alicia to a game of strip rock paper scissors, raising his fist, while she reacts with surprise and disbelief. Yuichi explains the rock paper scissors rules using a pointer and board, while someone questions where he got the board and pointer. Yuichi explains the rules about losing clothing each round. Alicia questions the intelligence behind choosing a luck-based game, and Yuichi dismisses the idea. A girl with long light hair challenges Alicia, telling her to pull her head out of the gutter and start, while Alicia responds with a serious expression. Yuichi and Alicia stand facing each other as the narration questions Yuichi's fate and promises continuation in Soul Anomaly. Yuichi stands confidently showing a victory sign while Alicia kneels frustrated, exclaiming "damn it," as the narration declares Yuichi's landslide win. Yuichi raises his hand toward the rocky wall as water splashes nearby. Alicia cries with tears streaming down her face, while Yuichi looks on with a drop of sweat on his cheek. Yuichi removes his jacket, stating the match is decided, while Alicia apologizes, and he admits he expected her to concede after losing rounds. Ren speaks to Alicia, who looks away and says she couldn't afford to lose for personal reasons, but it's over now. Then Yuichi asks if her narcissism has an off switch. Alicia explains her defeat and the political reason behind it, while Yuichi questions her, then reacts with shock to her mention of possible disownment. He clenches his fist, then thinks about fixing the situation and not looking in another mirror for eternity. He tells her he will become her family and grant her happiness, asking her to take the name Shiro if needed. Alicia reacts with surprise and confusion as Yuichi explains his words were a marriage proposal, while she clenches her fist and her heart beats loudly. Yuichi Shiro clenches his fist and thinks about the stakes of their match, then speaks to Alicia Pandemonium, promising to become her family and grant her happiness. Tells Alicia Pandemonium her words sounded like a marriage proposal, causing her to react with surprise and a pounding heart. Yuichi Shiro looks serious while reacts with a pounding heart. Two cloaked figures observe silently. Alicia clears her throat and responds to Yuichi, refusing to be underestimated. Alma reminds Yuichi of her promise to revive him, while Alicia thinks about the difficulty of rejecting someone gracefully. Yuichi agrees to go, and Alma warns his life will change. Yuichi explains the spirit's invisibility while Alicia prepares to find his body, then Sakura reacts to a view, and Yuichi is caught looking under nurse's skirts. Yuichi shouts at Alicia about the pain, while she warns him to stop or she will reap his soul immediately. Then they talk about his friends and her little sister. Yuichi apologizes, saying "Guys, I'm sorry," while three others, 2 girls and 1 boy, stand close, one girl covering her face with her hand. Yuichi tells the group not to worry and that he is coming back, while Alicia agrees and they both look toward a closed door. Yuichi Shiro stands beside Alicia Pandemonium, urging her to come on, while she prepares to enter a glowing doorway, saying, "Here goes nothing." In the operating room, medical staff rush to get the defibrillator as a patient's heart has stopped, while Yuichi and Alicia watch the urgent scene unfold. Yuichi, bandaged and shirtless, says he's still beautiful. Ren tells him to be quiet, while Alicia grants permission to stare at her sleeping profile, which Elizabeth refuses. Alicia casts Reaper technique, stasis barrier, while Yuichi runs toward the barrier, which then surrounds him, stopping his movement. Yuichi asks if time was stopped, and Alicia explains that time flows but normal people inside the barrier are in stasis. Alicia tells Yuichi to lie still as she prepares to reconnect his soul to his body. He lies on the bed, commenting on the sensation. She warns him to stop with the innuendos. Then Alicia begins the reconnection, and Yuichi reacts with discomfort. She reassures him it will be over soon and finishes the process. Yuichi Shiro sits on a hospital bed, thanking Alicia Pandemonium, who responds with displeasure while a heart monitor beeps nearby. Alicia says farewell above a magic circle, then a hospital appears with 2 masked staff rushing to a boy on a table who suddenly wakes and says "What's up?" Sakura raises 2 fingers while speaking to Yuichi and Alicia, who listen with concern. Then, Sakura, Alicia, and Ren look anxiously at the hospital bed. Yuichi stands by the bed, comforting the unconscious Alicia, while Ren watches from a distance. The scene shows a large building under a cloudy sky, then Sakura laughs and says Alicia was really beaten badly. Alexander Pandemonium sits confidently in a chair expressing interest in meeting Yuichi Shiro, while Alicia Pandemonium protests about the seriousness of the situation. Yuichi tells Alicia to stop, while she kneels and says she will take full responsibility and accept punishment. Alicia apologizes to her father, who reassures her that family matters more than honor and reveals he has found a solution to their problem. Alicia speaks about what needs to be done, then Yuichi says he needs to get ready and leaves, while Alicia acknowledges and agrees to follow instructions. Yuichi Shiro greets Alicia Pandemonium with a peace sign, while she looks down and says he will thank her one day. A seated woman comments on fate and time. Yuichi waves goodbye, saying he's leaving and will see them tonight or tomorrow morning. Sakura tells him to wait as she runs after him, while he tells her to relax and not rush. Yuichi Shiro greets Rin Kirii and Sakura Kirii, who respond. Yuichi expresses surprise at seeing them, and Rin explains Sakura wanted to see him despite the distance. Sakura asks if her senpai is truly alright, he replies apologizing for worrying her, then Rin questions Yuichi about becoming his brother-in-law while patting Sakura's head. Yuichi refuses to hand Yuna over to anyone, while Sakura insists he misunderstood brother-in-law, pushing him back as another person listens nearby. Sakura grabs Yuichi from behind, calling him an idiot, while Yuichi looks surprised and another boy watches, thinking Sakura has a tough task ahead. Yuichi Shiro wakes angrily, shouting at Ren, while Sakura Kirii asks if it's true, and another boy comments on Yuichi's reputation as a beautiful genius. Angrily explains how he didn't know the cock referred to a chicken, while two girls listen silently nearby. Ren challenges Yuichi to show his genius, asking if he's ready for the challenge, while Yuichi confidently accepts and Ren instructs him to recite the alphabet. Yuichi sings the alphabet while three others watch silently. One acknowledges his genius and says they are glad he has seen the light. Yuichi holds Sakura's hand and thanks her while she promises to always be by his side despite worries about his genius isolating him. Sakura calls out to Yuichi hesitantly, struggling to speak while he turns toward her. Three hooded figures approach a girl, inviting her to join them, while two boys confront them with aggressive words and threats. Yuichi punches a man, who grimaces in pain, while Ren calmly wipes his face and says that trying to damage it is a sin. Yuichi reacts to attackers with knives while Ren and another man stand behind him, Ren deciding to let them go just this once but reconsidering immediately. Yuichi stands with two others as a man praises his martial skills, while a girl with a mask asks if they are all together. Yuichi speaks, questioning Alicia about her family, while she responds, acknowledging their meeting again and denying his assumption. A boy with headphones asks Yuichi if he knows the foreign girl. Yuichi replies somewhat. Sakura calls Yuichi Oniai-chan, Lilisha says senpai, and Alicia questions Yuichi's presence. Yuichi clenches his fists and declares he is now Alicia's fiancé, while he questions the engagement to a girl he barely knows. Yuichi raises his arms shouting, while Alicia instructs Sakura to call the church. Ren promises to find the best stripper, and Sakura agrees to make the reservation. Yuichi and Alicia discuss their relationship, with Alicia questioning Yuichi's acceptance, while Yuichi insists that not knowing or loving each other is not an issue. She says her sexual interests lie in girls, while he responds enthusiastically, calling it fantastic. Yuichi Shiro holds his stomach. Alicia Pandemonium asks about the scroll, then Yuichi laughs and shows a list of girls desired in a threesome, shocking Alicia. Yuichi shouts at Alicia while she stands near a fire. He tries to save something burning and cries about his feelings and hard work being destroyed. Yuichi introduces Alicia as his fiancée to Ren, Yuna, and Sakura, while Sakura protests and Yuichi mentions the number of scrolls he created. Yuichi introduces Rin as his best friend to Alicia, who responds politely, then he presents his little sister Yuna, asking for leniency, while Yuna protests about the Brocon label. Alicia explains their engagement reason. Yuichi dismisses the process. Ran and Sakura listen. Lilisha recalls her noble family and possible disownment. Yuichi reacts angrily, and Alicia mentions her father's opposite actions. Lilisha states there is no shame if one pandemonium loses to another and to create that scenario. Yuichi says they need to marry. A girl asks Alicia if her brother did something shameful. Alicia denies it. A boy confidently shows a peace sign, and another girl looks confused and worried. Yuichi punches Rin shouting die, while Sakura tries to stop Alicia, who looks distressed and says Yuna is misunderstanding. Lilisha looks surprised while Alicia and Sakura prepare for a challenge. Yuichi, wearing headphones, thinks about Sakura's assertiveness and the excitement around him. Yuichi Shiro stands with crossed arms and headphones, saying rest in peace and looks like another peaceful day is upon us, while two boys behind him silently plead for Ren's help. Yuichi mocks Ren, who lies on the desk, while Ren blames Yuichi for handling Yuna's wrath alone. Yuichi admits fault and questions if their friendship was cheap over a bottle of soda. Yuichi Shiro rests his head on his hand and speaks, complaining about someone being a nuisance shortly after arriving. Akane Mizuko tells she will keep him on a tighter leash this year, while Ryu Ikena mentions they are in the same class and looks forward to getting along. Yuichi speaks to Ren, who responds defensively, while Sakura crosses her arms and a boy with a headset listens nearby. Ren tells Yuichi to watch it, while Yuichi asks how many times Ren has cock-blocked him. Then Yuichi recalls moments with Alicia and Sakura, both reacting to his words. Yuichi leans over Alicia, who protests, while Sakura yells at them from behind. Sakura argues with Yuichi, accusing him of sexual harassment, while he denies it and a third person falls backward in the background. Yuichi and Ren talk. Yuichi admits a mistake, Ren responds with surprise, then Sakura punches Yuichi while he asks Ren to hit him instead. A girl with long braided hair stands in front of a mirror holding a photo. A close-up shows a boy saying he would never do anything like that with a girl like her. The photo drips with liquid. A woman with long dark hair and glasses asks, "What was that?" while another woman with long dark hair and no visible eyes approaches confidently. The woman with glasses reacts with pain, clutching her forehead. The other woman says she wishes to walk by his side despite the risk, and the woman with glasses wishes her success. Sakura calls out to Ren, who leans against the wall. He apologizes for Yuichi's mood in snapping, while she reflects on understanding his true feelings when angered. Yuichi smirks and explains a guy's feelings are mixed, while Sakura laughs and asks when the feared ex-delinquent became a poet, then asks not to bring up her past self. A boy tells Mizuno-san she needs to be more tolerant, mentioning two sides to every coin, even Yuichi's flirting, while Mizuno-san questions if it's just fooling around. A boy explains Yuichi flirts only with pretty girls, while a girl with glasses listens quietly. A girl with glasses questions if Yuichi was actually trying to help the girls despite being scolded, then concludes he is just flirting without realizing it. A boy with headphones explains Yuichi's regret while a girl listens, then he turns and walks away through a door as she says she's heading back before homeroom starts. Yuichi touches his swollen face while Alicia thinks about its importance, then she approaches him, saying this is the last time she can do this, and he suddenly hugs her. Sakura apologizes to Mizuno, calls her cute, then suddenly strikes her, causing Mizuno to fall to the floor. A girl with glasses turns away with a smirk, while a boy with dark hair shouts, "You damn demon," at her. The school bell rings as Ren asks Yuichi if he is okay, who replies he has been a punching bag all morning, then Ren tells him Alicia is in their class. Alicia introduces herself as a new student, explaining her transfer, while others cheer "Cute Girl Bonsai" in the background. Alicia confirms it's the second day of the new year, and Yuichi asks if there are any questions for Alicia, adding if any don't count as sexual harassment. Sakura looks toward the classroom filled with boys and asks aloud how many perverted boys are in her class. Yuichi raises his hand and asks a question, while two girls react with surprise, and a boy with headphones comments on the genius striking again shortly after the teacher's warning. Alicia tells Yuichi he better have a good reason for this, and he replies that he just wants to know his fiance's preferences. A girl clears up confusion in class, stating Yuichi and she are engaged, while others whisper about Yuichi's quick strikes and question his sanity. Three boys scream in frustration, while Yuichi Shiro calmly affirms, then steps forward with hands on a desk. Yuichi speaks into a microphone, warning anyone who desires Alicia, while Ren responds with a confident challenge, holding his own microphone. Yuichi speaks into a microphone inviting the girls, while Alicia thinks he still believes she is a lesbian and then approaches him with a heart symbol. Yuichi imagines a girl happily calling him, but in reality, she kicks him painfully in the groin. The narration states Yuichi's first school day starts with a visit to the infirmary. The teacher announces the end of the lesson and reminds students about homework, then the girl covers her face, expressing disbelief and embarrassment toward Yuichi. Akane Mizuno introduces herself to the girl with silver hair, who responds with "same here," while a pink-haired girl stands nearby. A girl says she doesn't want to talk about what happened. A boy asks if she was telling the truth before and how she ended up in an arranged engagement with Yuichi. Alicia asks Lilisha if she loves him. Lilisha reacts with surprise and hesitation, then recalls a memory of a boy promising happiness, and finally tells herself not to. Sakura declares her decision to help end the engagement, while Lilisha responds with a surprised expression and a comment about the despised womanizer. A girl with long braided hair walks away while another girl with light hair looks on, then the light-haired girl says, "My future's sake?" How transparent. Lilisha thinks Yuichi's popularity claim isn't baseless, while Sakura comments he likely hasn't noticed someone's feelings. Yuichi Shiro wakes up confused, asking where he is, while noticing a strange device on the table nearby. A fairy asks Yuichi to defeat the Demon King and save the world, while Yuichi doubts his ability, and the Demon King laughs confidently. When questions how to settle the fate of the world, Yuichi suggests betting on a card game, and Sakura explains it as a fun, albeit pointless, trading card game. Yuichi Shiro declares it's time to duel, while a horned opponent challenges him, and a card is shown, described as reflecting Yuichi's personality from his soul. Reincarnation shouts it's his turn and draws a card, then summons a creature called Constipated Camel. A horned figure commands turn end, while Yuichi Shiro responds, "My turn, draw," calling the previous action grotesque. Summons himself and commands his other self to attack the Constipated Camel. Ren asks Yuichi what's wrong, who refuses to attack something, saying it would soil his beauty, while Ren wonders if Yuichi is really that biased against him. A demon summons Blue Eyes White while Yuichi reacts with shock, acknowledging the legendary power. A horned man summons the Blue Eyes White donkey, which appears loudly, while a dark-haired boy watches and thinks this is bad. A boy commands a white donkey to attack while shouting, and the donkey spits a barrage at a camel, which reacts with a loud cry. Yuichi lies on a bed, resting his head on his arm, and says he won't go within 500 miles of any camels. Yuichi Shiro wakes up and sees a man in a lab coat who hands him an envelope, mentioning it was requested by a girl named Code. Responds to an unseen man's rude remarks about teachers, then looks at his phone showing the time 12:11. Sakura thanks Yuna for coming with her. Yuna replies no worries, then Sakura says Oniak-chan won't refuse and it's best if only they two appeal to him. Yuna doubts Yuichi-senpai would agree. Sakura questions Yuichi about Alicia and her sudden proposal, then Yuna warns to hide as Yuichi enters the room. Yuichi walks away with a serious face. Sakura and another girl watch him, commenting and deciding to follow him while Sakura protests. Yuichi notices something, then watches Sakura and Lilisha from behind, wondering what they are doing, and decides he should follow them. Yuichi and Sakura hide behind opposite walls in the hallway while Alicia walks away, and Yuichi questions the dual-layered stalking. Yuichi Shiro climbs the stairs leading to the roof while Sakura Kirii states her duty to stop his misconduct as part of the disciplinary committee. Yuichi opens a door and enters, then says to Alicia that he has come as she requested. Lilisha stands with her hand on her hip, stating she wants to explain changes to Yuichi's existence. Yuichi reacts, denying a love confession and asking what important thing she wants to say. Yuichi questions Alicia about her letter, denying it's a love confession, while she insists what she's about to say is important and tells him to pull himself together. Yuichi reacts with surprise. Alicia covers her face, and Rin declares he must defeat her 7 evil ex-boyfriends, shown as dark silhouettes behind him. Yuichi Shiro declares he will fight to make the girl his, while Sakura Kirii asks him to stop being dumb for a moment. She looks away, then he asks what she said. Alicia tells Yuichi he is no longer a normal human after resurrection, then he responds boasting about his beauty and superiority over normal humans. Yuichi asks if he was revived when his soul was reconnected, and Alicia explains the soul's exposure to the atmosphere caused mutation without a protective vessel. Alicia explains that Yuichi's mutated soul is connected to his body and will cause his body to mutate to adapt to the evolved soul, while Yuichi questions if he is becoming a monster. Ren asks Alicia how she sees him, and she replies that he is different from normal humans, then she tells Yuichi he isn't a monster and could never make that expression. Lilisha explains the term soul anomalies while Yuichi listens and repeats the phrase quietly, then she adds that mutated souls in humans are called human anomalies. Yuichi asks Alicia what being a human anomaly entails, insisting she has a reason for explaining it, and Alicia responds that human anomalies have unique traits despite little physical difference. Alicia explains that human anomalies cannot die by conventional means and heal faster, then adds they can use their soul to create physical phenomena, while the listener reacts with surprise. Lilisha points at a swirling anomaly while Yuichi looks on, startled, as she explains how a soul mutates into a monster when exposed to the living world's atmosphere. Yuichi warns Alicia about the danger, but she insists on handling it herself, then she swings her weapon at a charging black beast. Yuichi asks Alicia if he will become like the monster, and she responds with a simple no. Yuichi walks toward Alicia and tells her she is a great girl, warns her about soul and human anomalies, and says her soul won't mutate further. Alicia responds with whatever. Alicia warns about soul slayers, Yuichi asks what they are, and Ren confirms they are frightening. Two shadowed figures hold large weapons while Alicia explains that soul slayers can damage souls and the church owns most of them. Yuichi listens, questioning Alicia's knowledge. Yuichi tells Alicia to speak while she warns him to stop pushing. A loud scream is heard from a nearby room. Several characters fall in a pile on the floor, groaning, as one asks how long they have been snooping. Yuichi asks Alicia if she had a dream like that, then decides to unleash his master-level deceiving technique after realizing they heard everything. Yuichi listens as a boy with headphones tells him no one would believe the lie, while Yuichi asks a girl with long hair what they should do next. Yuichi bowed his head and agreed to tell them what happened, while a girl stood nearby. The narration confirmed he told them everything. Yuichi Shiro sits cross-legged explaining the story while Alicia Pandemonium, Sakura Kirii, Lilisha Pandemonium, Ren Kirii, and Elizabeth Cerberus listen and respond around him. Lilisha enters the room wrapped in a towel, checks her phone, and notices 343 messages from her father, wondering why he is so excited. Lilisha answers an incoming call from her father and asks when they can meet him. Alicia talks on the phone, asking about updates on her and mentioning Tartarus search, while the man on the other end insists she hurry and bring Yuichi despite his schedule. Alicia reads messages on her phone, then Lilisha, sitting nearby with a book, comments that it was fast. Alicia lies in bed, commenting on someone's looks and narcissism, while Yuichi thinks about his obsession with beauty and wonders about being called ugly. Yuichi Shiro raises a hand mirror and declares he has the beauty, while two bystanders criticize his looks as mediocre and not beautiful. Raises his arms and chants a transformation spell, summoning ancient spirits to transform into his glorious form. A spaceship named SS Nova passes a planet labeled Neptune, with a voice saying, "Sorry didn't see ya there, then it sucks to be you," before approaching Earth a few planets later. Alicia wakes up suddenly, then hears a knock and opens the door, asking who it is. Yuichi stands outside, greeting her early in the morning. Ren sits relaxed on the couch, asking Alicia about her family, while she responds sitting in an armchair, beginning to explain. Yuichi drinks tea while explaining the influence of the Thanatos, Cerberus, and Pandemonium families under Hades, and responds to questions about Cerberus and his father. Alicia apologizes and explains her fear after losing, while Yuichi reflects on his father's values and questions the reasons behind the forced engagement. She reflects on the father's unusual behavior, noting his usual protectiveness but this time acting like Cupid, while considering the family's shame as a secondary concern. Yuichi questions Lilisha about having a little sister, expressing surprise and frustration, while she explains Disturb is a scumbag and Lilisha is her sister, advising calm before the meeting. Yuichi asks Alicia a series of detailed questions to prepare the perfect present, while Alicia responds with brief answers and questions his interrogation. Yuichi says he will prepare a present for his new sister, and the girl yawns, deciding to go back to sleep while another woman reflects on Yuichi's early visit and effort. Yuichi thinks about someone's arrogance and nervousness, while Alicia smiles and tells someone not to worry, saying it's time to sleep. Yuichi enters carrying a large box and greets Alicia, who corrects his wording, then he smiles at her while Ren hits him, telling him to keep dreaming. Yuichi looks frustrated while Alicia crosses her arms and asks what it would take for him to go dear, as he imagines her giving herself to him. Alicia gestures toward a hidden entrance, telling to go, while Yuichi agrees and follows her down the stairs. He asks if her home is a ninja mansion, she replies they are reapers. Yuichi asks Alicia if she is a closet Satanist, and she firmly denies it, stating everything in the room serves a purpose. Yuichi speaks confidently with crossed arms, while Ren stands apart, responding reluctantly. Alicia faces them with a questioning posture, showing confusion. Yuichi stands on the pentagram, questioning the process, while Alicia declares she registers his soul to bypass the underworld barriers. Alicia asks if the girl is hurt, who thanks her for help, Yuichi demands saving innocent people from burning, while Sakura embraces him, saying being close stops her trembling. Lilisha talks about a girl who knows the sterilized world inside the barrier and hopes the barrier will become unnecessary one day. She hears voices begging her to remove the torment's cause. A close-up shows a girl shouting humanity, with wide eyes. Yuichi lies on the ground with his eyes closed, while two girls call out to him, one saying Yuichi, "Are you okay?" and the other repeating Alicia. Yuichi assures Alicia he is fine after the bright light stunned him, then she says the destination is her underworld residence and chance connect. The head butler introduces himself as Sebastian, while the head of the Pandemonium family's private military calls himself Kuro, and Yuichi greets them both. A man in uniform stands next to a servant who asks to leave bags to the maids, while two maids carry large suitcases approaching a seated person. Lilisha tells Alicia she can see his true nature without a mask and is happy for her, while Yuichi smiles and says he knew Alicia's partner was special and envies her. Yuichi and Alicia stand before two guards at a large door. One guard invites them inside while Yuichi questions the meeting location and Alicia remains silent. Yuichi asks why it is pitch black. Alicia says she has a bad feeling. Then they see a stage with musicians and dancers. Yuichi questions the stage, and Alicia reacts negatively. The orchestra plays while cheerleaders perform. One girl sings, and another watches, commenting on the serious cuteness of the girl performing. Masked figures raise their hands while chanting "Open the box and unleash." Pandemonium, as a person in a suit and top hat stands before them. An orchestra plays while two girls perform a cheer routine with pom-poms on stage. A girl with braided hair watches and comments on the performance. Yuichi Shiro stands with his back to a group of identical men raising their hands, while he sings "Open the box and unleash." Pandemonium, with arms wide open. Yuichi, Alicia, and Lilisha perform on stage, singing "We Are Pandemonium" with synchronized gestures and spotlighted poses. Yuichi applauds loudly while Alicia covers her face, then both bow deeply to the audience, followed by an empty stage with a spotlight shining. He comments on Alicia's house having a hidden stage, and she replies that they didn't have one last time and wonders when their father installed it. Yuichi Shiro bows and introduces himself as Alexander Pandemonium, Alicia's father, removes his makeup, and they shake hands while discussing the formality of the introduction. Yuichi introduces a girl named Annette as his wife, while she stands with her head lowered and another girl reacts with surprise. Ren asks Yuichi if he is okay, and Yuichi replies that he is fine but was overcome with emotion. Alicia explains the time residue is resynchronizing with him and apologizes for not revealing the truth yet. Yuichi holds Sakura by the collar as she speaks, while Alicia introduces Lilisha as her youngest daughter standing quietly nearby. Lilisha introduces herself to Yuichi, who greets her, while another voice tells him he is mixing his thoughts and speech. Yuichi apologizes while scratching his head, then allows a girl to hug him. Three others watch with surprise. Sakura kicks Yuichi away shouting not to defile her sister, while another girl mocks her jealousy. Yuichi laughs while Alicia and Lilisha argue about his arrogance, and Sakura questions Alicia's feelings about her engagement. Alicia explains that Yuichi only needs to marry into the Pandemonium family, but his partner doesn't have to be the other girl, while the surprised girl reacts. Lilisha refuses help, promising to fix the problem herself, while Sakura tells their sister to be more honest. Yuichi reacts angrily to a suggestion involving Alicia and Lilisha as bride and mistress. Yuichi talks about bedroom experience and apologizes. Alicia reacts angrily, questioning why he brought it up. Sakura suggests giving virginity to Annette for her skillful technique. Yuichi bows to Alicia, promising care, while Sakura shouts refusal and strikes a man. Lilisha questions her father's actions, who replies about sharing fun experiences, excluding his wife. Lilisha holds Sakura's hand and asks her not to steal from their brother. Yuichi lies on the floor while Elizabeth comments on him, and he responds briefly. Yuichi explains he gave over 70 gifts last year. Alicia questions the number of chocolates he received, and Ren reflects on wanting to accept love chocolates from shy girls. Alicia questions the existence of unvoiced feelings. Yuichi smiles confidently, and Sakura thinks he is just plain dumb while Alicia praises Yuichi's kindness. Yuichi Shiro and Alicia Pandemonium sit together, Alicia holding a cup, while Sakura Kirai asks if something happened. Yuichi explains the feminist and conservative debate causing him a headache. Yuichi listens while Alicia questions how a statue can be sexist, then Sakura says she will show something on her phone. A muscular man poses on the backs of two crouching women, while Yuichi comments he fails to see the problem, and another voice suggests feminists might be overanalyzing or looking too shallow. Yuichi offers gifts while Alicia thanks him for flowers, Ren opens a box with cigars, and Elizabeth comments on their purpose, correcting Yuichi's misunderstanding about smoking. Yuichi shows a life-size doll of himself, Alicia expresses gratitude, and Lilisha comments on the doll's purpose to always be near someone. Ren thanks for the gifts and asks Alicia if she has told Yuichi about human anomalies. Alicia confirms Yuichi witnessed her defeat a soul anomaly. Ren explains to Yuichi that human anomalies have many enemies and warns he must learn to fight if he wants to live in the living world. Yuichi Shiro says that otherwise, the listener will certainly die, and the other person replies they have no intention of dying a second time. Elizabeth tells Yuichi he may leave his training to them, then Alicia advises him to change clothes before they start, and Yuichi walks away as they wish him luck. Yuichi stands confidently in a martial arts outfit, while a man in a cape hands him over to Kuro, who prepares to teach Yuichi to fight without going easy. Alicia hands Yuichi a sword, saying it is a present and hopes he won't need it, while he thanks her, and then the sword is shown close-up with the word beautiful. Yuichi comments on the sword, calling it magnificent, while mentioning their plan to enter the Redberry Woods, noting the presence of beasts and soul anomalies there. A man in uniform orders Yuichi to follow him and prepare for intense training. Yuichi responds affirmatively, then they both run forward together. Alicia raises a finger while speaking, then lowers her head as she explains the original plan was scrapped due to budget and personal dislike of training arcs. Lilisha and Alicia pose in swimsuits while a small figure apologizes and asks for forgiveness by offering this fanservice shot. Yuichi clenches his fist and comments on the intense training session, then he spreads his arms, feeling the power surging through him, while a man in uniform stands with crossed arms. Lilisha welcomes Ren back, Alicia teases him about his dirty clothes, and Yuichi responds that it's not wild, just dirty, suggesting he take a bath. A man in a brown uniform explains Kurokuin's skills while a silver-haired person listens and responds. Yuichi asks what is happening, Alicia explains the Cerberus family is hosting a party, and Ren confirms their role in underworld border security. Alicia mentions Yuichi's underworld debut and Hades attending, while Lilisha expresses dread about her engagement becoming public. Sakura asks who he means, then Yuichi listens as Lilisha whispers about a rivalry between her sister and Cerberus's eldest daughter. Yuichi asks about the chances of witnessing a catfight, and Ren explains it's unlikely due to their pride, then advises him to freshen up for the event. Yuichi swims in the pool and says, "Oh yeah, this is the life." Someone calls him, Yuichi Naisama, and he responds with She says, I came. He replies, "Wow, Alicia couldn't be more wrong about you being shy. Not that I'm complaining." Then he asks, "May I join you?" and she answers, "By all means." A girl sitting by the pool tells the boy in the water she lacks the courage to reveal everything, while he explains he came to ask her something. Sakura asks Yuichi how he feels about joining their family, and he replies that although the engagement was unexpected, he supports it and believes his decision to marry Alicia is correct. Yuichi and Lilisha sit in a bath, she asks about polygamy in the underworld, and he responds while she prepares to leave. Yuichi and Lilisha talk in a bath, he agrees to take care of her sister, and she questions polygamy in the underworld while preparing to leave. A girl promises to tell the whole truth when trusted, while a boy sits quietly in a bath, observing her. Lilisha sits on the floor hugging her knees, thinking the surprise attack was unfair, while Yuichi looks at her and calls her name. She asks him not to see her like this. Alicia addresses her father, who sits beside Lilisha, while a helicopter flies outside. Alicia questions why a helicopter was chosen instead of a limo for Yuichi's debut. Alicia speaks about impressing through unexpected sky entrance. Yuichi and Sakura respond, acknowledging their father's wisdom and credit. Yuichi explains his grandfather taught him to dance. Alicia says nobles will judge if he can't, he replies it's no problem, and she expresses interest in meeting his late grandfather. Yuichi tells her he sings the gentleman's virtue song every night to keep memories alive, while she apologizes and another girl asks what the song is. Yuichi sings a song written by his grandfather, while two characters react with one covering her face and the other pulling her away. A girl holding a lacrosse stick addresses the audience, promoting a single with a boy swimming on the cover, while a small character laughs below. A man in uniform tells the master they are above the venue, then instructs Yuichi to put on a parachute, while a girl reacts with surprise and concern. Yuichi stands and speaks to Alma, who tells him they will wait outside. Sakura and Lilisha sit nearby, urging Yuichi to be careful. Yuichi runs forward while someone shouts for him to wait, and he looks down at a large building surrounded by trees and pathways. A boy lands with a parachute while a man in a white suit adjusts his jacket, and a woman in a dress watches them. Several people comment on the dramatic entrance and ask about the boy. Yuichi greets the girls, Alicia calls him cool, and Sakura accuses him of not listening. Then Yuichi offers to escort Alicia, who accepts, while another girl warns him not to get ideas. A man with a microphone asks the audience to applaud the Pandemonium family, while two women raise their hands, one praising Lord Pandemonium and the other expressing a wish to be stepped on. Yuichi and Alicia stand on stage facing the crowd, while voices from the audience comment on their parents and urge Yuichi to stop. Alicia and Lilisha stand together while Sakura praises Alicia and Lilisha, then Ren demands to know who voiced the fetishes. A man raises his hands defensively while two others glare intensely at him, and he apologizes, saying he didn't mean anything by it. A clenched fist is shown, then two characters stand side by side, one giving a thumbs down. A man is dragged away while shouting for mercy, and another yells asking why his clothes are being removed. Yuichi raises a screwdriver threateningly, causing Sakura to scream and deny needing help, while Alicia comments on dealing with a perv and mentions their father's expectations. Alicia thinks about being exhausted early in the party and wonders if the day can get worse, while Lilisha laughs quietly and confirms it can. Elizabeth greets Alicia with a laugh, while Reno stands silently beside her. Alicia responds, mentioning Reno's babysitting duty. Alicia asks Ren what he means, while he looks at her silently, ignoring the annoyance. A girl points and tells a boy over there. Another woman calls out Lily, and a girl named Lily Thanatos reacts saying, Reno-shan. Alicia approaches Elizabeth, Yuichi, and Lilisha, greeting them. Elizabeth responds to Alicia and Lilisha, while Yuichi comments on Elizabeth's energy. A girl says the clothes look wrong on her, then a boy blushes and tells her they bring out her charm, calling her unbelievably cute, while she thanks him and another praises her. Yuichi asks Alicia about the man with Lilisha, then Ren and Sakura discuss Yuichi's appearance while Sakura challenges Elizabeth to comment on it. Sakura spins Yuichi by the hand while he says Lilisha has always been a great judge of character, then she asks if he has ever seen her smile like that. Ren says he senses something special about him. Yuichi replies he means more than just a human anomaly and asks who he is. A man in a suit announces to the audience, asking for applause for Hades-sama, while a woman thinks she has no choice but to come clean. A man with star-shaped glasses raises his arm and announces himself as Dr. Des, while a girl in the background plans to sneak away unnoticed. Yuichi Shiro lies on the floor holding a microphone and shouts, "Let's go wild." Meanwhile, Alicia Pandemonium watches a cheering crowd and thinks he always knows how to win them over. Alicia looks back and disappears suddenly, while Yuichi questions her disappearance and Ren angrily reacts, with Sakura wondering why the two can't get along. Yuichi Shiro asks politely for the next dance, and Sakura Kirii responds by taking his hand. Alicia thinks she escaped, but Ren appears behind her and demands to know who the boy is, while Yuichi stands nearby. Alicia thinks about why someone is more persistent, while Sakura worries aloud about what to do next, and Yuichi spreads his arms, telling the girls not to fight over him. Alicia asks Yuichi to explain why he thinks they are fighting over him, while he questions if that is what really happened, thinking through the chain of events. Elizabeth mocks Yuichi about being Alicia's fiancé, calling him a unique specimen, while he responds with a composed smile and internal thoughts about her words. Yuichi Shiro smiles with eyes closed, saying he is already engaged and finds the situation problematic. Alicia Pandemonium insists he listen, denying his claim. Yuichi decides firmly, warning Elizabeth. Yuichi grabs Alicia's hand, declaring he must meet expectations, then Sakura and Lilisha urge him to hurry, while Alicia questions his actions. A man with star-shaped glasses addresses Hades-sama casually, while another man responds about recommending the best love hotel, and a woman criticizes the disrespectful address. Two girls react with shock, stammering low. Love, while a man with star-shaped glasses explains that one should not rely on a single opinion. A man with star-shaped glasses speaks into a microphone, asking for attention and mentioning a serious question, while a girl with sunglasses thinks he's not going to do something. Yuichi Shiro confidently asks the group to recommend a love hotel for a memorable first experience, while others react with surprise and embarrassment. Yuichi, Alicia, Ren, Elizabeth, Sakura, Lilisha, and Alma stand together, discussing and recommending different rotating beds and props from Pure Heart, Pink Flower, and Nirvana. Yuichi stands facing a stern man while Alicia confronts him, and two girls watch nearby, one thinking about the debate on love hotels hierarchy. Alicia hands Yuichi a condom, saying precautions must be taken, while Yuichi thanks her as father, and a thought urges to stop him from just giving condoms. Yuichi Shiro raises his arms and promises to change the girls oh-ho-ho-ho to oh-oh-oh, while two girls stand behind him. A crowd of people raises their fists and shouts encouragement. Yuichi walks forward holding hands with two girls as the crowd throws confetti around them. Alicia strikes a blow that stops the boy's advance, ending his adventure abruptly. A man speaks on the phone about reports of increased anomaly activity in a city area, mentioning it is likely caused by a human anomaly. Alicia stands at a distance facing two large shadowy wolf-like creatures, asking if killing one will complete the mission. Yuichi says he's been bored lately, explaining he's only been killing small fries, then prepares to fight multiple shadowy creatures with a sword. A young man named Vincent Redfern adjusts his collar, holds a sword, and says, "Well then. Let the monster hunt begin." Yuna sits at a desk. Sakura calls her name and asks about Yuichi. Yuna denies anything happened with her brother, and Sakura mentions Alicia inviting him over, seeking advice. The girl in the red hoodie refuses suddenly, the dark-haired girl says wait, and the brown-haired girl suggests using Ren's birthday as an excuse to pick a gift. Sakura leans over Yuna's desk, praising her, while Yuna responds modestly sitting down. Alicia stands with flames behind her, warning Sakura she hasn't won yet. Yuna thinks about Sakura falling for her brother, then tells herself to stop, while her brother holds his head. Ren rubs his eyes and says he is tired. Then he thinks about a prank on Yuna, saying it made it worth it despite barely sleeping. Ren lies on the bed and calls Yuna to play, but she refuses, telling him to close the door behind him while reading a book. Yuichi Shiro reacts with surprise and tells someone to get lost, while a girl with long hair angrily denies a false backstory and refuses his invitation. Yuichi enters Yuna's room, sees her asleep, then carefully carries her out and heads toward his own room. She wakes up beside Yuichi Shiro and wonders why she is inside his room and bed. Sakura questions if she sleepwalked as she insists her clothes are orderly. Yuichi reacts with embarrassment, then he thinks about sweet revenge. Yuichi yawns and explains he stayed up all night to see Yuna's reaction, while Sakura recites Shakespeare lines dramatically in front of a classroom. Yuichi Shiro reacts angrily to a comment about suffering, then a school official orders him to go to the principal's office, and he responds with surprise. Leans back with his hands behind his head, then approaches an empty office desk and decides to spend time on the roof. Yuichi Shiro examines notes and a flyer about Supreme Kennels, then writes down a new phone number while humming. A man in glasses answers a phone call, saying he will get Mr. German Shepherd, then explains the caller will be connected to Mr. Jack Russell instead, while hearing barking sounds. Yuichi stretches and decides to get lunch, then looks at his phone and wonders if the message is from Sakura. Yuichi reads Sakura's message, thinks about replying humorously, then sends a teasing text while another boy reacts with surprise and disapproval. Yuichi watches a group of students while thinking, as busy as usual, then Sakura approaches him to discuss her text message. Yuichi raises his hand to say goodbye, and Sakura bows while thanking him excitedly, as he thinks she is cute. Yuichi approaches holding a tray, while two boys invite him to join them at a table where two girls are seated. A girl questions Ryu about his eating habits, he replies he's cutting back. Yuichi comments on his weight, and another girl tells Yuichi not to judge, apologizing to Ryu. Yuichi asks what they will do tomorrow off, while Ren explains his father is free after the cannibalistic Ripper case, and he plans to go fishing with him. Yuichi talks about the cannibalistic Ripper's death penalty, while Sakura asks to stop discussing it during the meal, and Alicia questions who Yuichi means. Yuichi tells Rin to answer, then Rin begins explaining the unusual murder case from 2 years ago. He describes the killer's method involving organ removal and cannibalism. Alicia listens as Yuichi explains a killer named Kirisasu was caught by his detective father 2 months ago, revealing the killer's mysterious origins. Yuichi, Sakura, and Ren talk about a cannibalistic ripper while Yuichi reacts to the conversation. Alicia apologizes to Mizuno. Yuichi invites Mizuno to his house after a date with Sakura. Sakura questions Yuichi about going on a date with her, while he nervously explains she asked for help choosing a gift for Rin and thinks about keeping it secret. Yuichi explains he was asked to help choose some sexy underwear while Alicia stands silently with crossed arms in the background. Alicia turns to leave, apologizing for going back first. Yuichi smirks, claiming he dodged a bullet. The other boy assures Sakura that Rin won't notice her gift, then decides to follow up. Yuichi calls out to Sakura, who stands quietly by a tree after school. Sakura apologizes for making Yuichi wait. He replies he just finished, then promises to keep quiet about Mizuno's work, and thanks her for coming along. She bows in response. Yuichi raises his fist and says to Sakura that they should hit the town, and she agrees with a raised fist. Yuichi and Sakura sit at a table with drinks, while Alicia reads a book between them. Yuichi and Sakura then walk through a mall, followed by Alicia. They stop at a jewelry store, with Alicia watching from behind. Yuichi drinks from a bottle as Sakura sits on a couch, observed by Alma adjusting her hood. Finally, the four stand at the edge. Two people stand in a store aisle with empty shelves. One holds a CD titled Vengeance X7. A girl decides to buy the album, while a boy thinks about his sister remembering his birthday. Yuichi stretches with hands behind his head while Sakura thanks him, saying her brother will love it, and he replies no worries. Ran watches silently as Yuichi catches Sakura, who cries out, and calls her name urgently. Ren asks Sakura if she is alright, apologizing for not paying attention, while Sakura nervously denies having a boyfriend despite Ren's teasing. Yuichi asks if something is on his face. Ren replies no and jokes they seem made for each other, then denies Yuichi's surprise about someone else possessing his level of beauty. Ren leaves, bidding farewell, while Sakura and Yuichi watch. Yuichi apologizes to Sakura and asks her to wait briefly, and she agrees. Yuichi runs through the city streets, then stops on a rooftop and identifies 5 soul anomalies floating nearby. Yuichi Shiro holds a sword and says it's time to see the fruits of his training, then Sakura Kirii challenges him to bring it on. Casts Ice Shot, launching a bat-shaped ice projectile that strikes and freezes a large monstrous creature, then jumps onto its back preparing to attack. Yuichi jumps down with a sword, attacks a large creature, then strikes it with his palms, shouting "Eat this," as electricity surrounds the creature. Yuichi watches as a shadowy figure leaps toward him, then is impaled by sharp stalagmites erupting from the ground. Yuichi Shiro attacks a black slime with a sword, then lands on the ground in a defensive stance, stating he can't let the slime soil his beauty. Yuichi throws a fire sphere at a slime, causing an explosion, then celebrates victory and decides to return to Sakura while expressing relief no one saw his action. Vincent Redfern claps his hands, then speaks to Yuichi Shiro, calling him a dear human anomaly and introducing himself as a church-affiliated slayer. Yuichi questions the church. Alicia explains their doctrine on anomalies. Ren recognizes a member of the organization, and he draws a sword declaring the fight will begin. Ren holds a sword and confirms it is his soul slayer, Muramasa Masamune, warning that one scratch will cause immense pain. Yuichi Shiro declares time to die, and attacks with a staff, while his opponent counters with an ice shot, causing shards to fly around them. Yuichi dodges stone arrows while Ren performs a spinning slash, then Yuichi comments on straight attacks failing and prepares a new tactic. Ren creates an ice floor and mocks Yuichi's attempt to seal his movements. Yuichi jumps forward shouting "Gotcha," while launching an attack called Bolt Palms at his opponent, who reacts with a tense expression and calls him a tricky little monster. He realizes the opponent's ice attack was a feint to melt it, then used water as a conductor for an electric attack. He thinks the enemy can't dodge midair and prepares to strike. Ren leaps down with a sword, shouting naive, and taunts his opponent to do better if they want to hit him, while the other thinks, damn it. Is this guy a freaking gymnast? Yuichi Shiro attacks with swords while saying the opponent missed their only chance, then uses gravity severance as the other floats further away, surprising him. Yuichi attacks shouting, but Ren blocks and breaks Yuichi's sword, then calls him a fool. Yuichi Shiro is kicked by Ren Kirii, who taunts him about Muramasa Masamune's power. Yuichi asks about the power, and Rin offers to explain it. Yuichi explains the blade's ability to sever anything, including forces like gravity or souls, while the other reacts with disbelief at the blade's power. Ran raises a sword and declares it's time to smite Yuichi's existence, while Yuichi shouts senpai, and Sakura calls out to him urgently. Ren tells Sakura to move aside so he can finish something, calling her a cute little lady from before. She refuses and asks him to leave senpai alone. Ren insists the target is not human but a monster. Ren asks Sakura what she is doing, warning that the guy is dangerous. She replies that she knows and turns away, while he urges her to hurry. Ren approaches Sakura with a drawn sword, warning her to move or he will erase her, while she stands with arms outstretched and he calls her name. Ren dodges an attack while shouting a curse, then reaches out toward Yuichi, who pleads to be allowed to act. Ren strikes Yuichi in the back, causing him to bleed, while Sakura stands behind Yuichi and utters senior pie. Yuichi bleeds from his mouth, Alicia pleads, then Ren stabs Yuichi in the abdomen, causing him to fall as Alicia screams no. Yuichi draws a sword and declares the case closed, while Alicia stands holding a large weapon beside a fallen figure, and Yuichi reacts with surprise, questioning bloodlust. Sakura attacks Elizabeth with a scythe while Elizabeth blocks it with a sword. Yuichi observes and notes the girl knows how to counter Muramasa Masamune. Sakura strikes Yuichi with a powerful palm attack, causing him to cough up blood and fall back, while she stands holding a weapon and asks if he has any last words. Yuichi Shiro struggles to stand, gripping his sword, while Sakura Kirii shouts die, and attacks him with a large weapon. Yuichi, injured, decides to escape, while Elizabeth prepares to clear a dust screen with swift arm movements, declaring vengeance will return in spades. Sakura kneels beside an unconscious boy, blaming herself, while Alicia comforts her, denying the fault and blaming a slayer instead. Alicia notices something and asks what it is, while Alicia looks surprised. Ren stands surrounded by glowing orbs, then collapses as his heart starts beating again. Alicia tells Lilicia that Yuichi is barely alive and they must act quickly to save him. Alicia urgently asks Lilicia to bring a SR tank, and Lilicia reluctantly agrees. Sakura asks Alicia if Yuichi will be okay. Alicia replies that her sister will bring the SR tank and they will teleport back to school. Alma commands Connect to prepare the teleport. Alma stands with her back turned, speaking about gathering soul fragments through the astral line, while Lilicia kneels inside a glowing magic circle on the floor. Alma speaks about her wish coming true while walking away, then instructs Yuichi and Alicia to act until she can return, as Yuichi listens intently and Alicia waits silently. Alicia kneels on the floor reporting to a shadowed figure that Muramasa Masamune's slayer has appeared, explaining Yuichi Shiro's role in luring them out without direct involvement. Alma Ivana stands with her hands clasped while Ren Kirii, wearing a hood and mask, says the gears are set in motion and it's time to lay the foundation. A girl explains to a shocked Wolf that his debut happens before current events and that his role is insignificant until the Enigma arc. Yuichi presses the doorbell and says he is coming, then Ren opens the door and greets Yuna, who peeks out from behind it. Yuichi asks to come in, the girl agrees, then she notices his distracted expression and asks if something is on his mind. A girl covers her face with her hand, then a boy places his hand on a girl's head and says, "Don't worry, it's nothing." Sakura asks Rin if he knows that he only acts affectionately when something bothers him, unlike her brother who is naturally like that. Sakura holds Ren's hand, offering help, while he declines and reassures her he will be okay. She apologizes and raises her hand. Sakura tells Yuichi to consult his brother if he cannot share something, then he responds by asking her if she means him. Ren Kirii smiles and speaks about a friend's loyalty, then bows and excuses himself while the other man stands near the stairs. Yuichi sits on the floor, looking tense and opening his bag, then reacts with shock to the news of being stabbed. Alicia stands nearby holding Sakura, who lies unconscious. Alicia asks for Yuna's contact details and explains the need for clothes for Yuichi. Ren agrees to inform her and asks Alicia to watch over Sakura. He admits to being a coward and apologizes to Yuna, saying he just can't do it. A boy walks along a street near a building. A girl with a bow watches him from a dark window. Another girl adjusts her jacket zipper. Two boys overhear others talking about Ren Kirii coming to school and sending people to the hospital, then run away. Ren reacts dismissively to the gossip. Yuichi Shiro demands to know who arranged fruit suggestively on his desk, while several students point fingers at the seated boy. Yuichi calls Ren, who listens silently as Yuichi claims a girl wants him, then Ren suggests they go home together, and both start walking side by side. A girl says he was the first real friend someone had, while a boy with headphones thinks he was always alone. Yuichi Shiro climbs and hangs from a ledge, thinking about taking a shortcut, while Renkirai listens and questions if they are talking about Yuichi. Alicia holds a large axe and asks Yuichi why he tried to kill an unrelated citizen. Yuichi Shiro argues that everything worked out despite the situation, while Alicia Pandemonium criticizes the justification of the means by the end. Lilicia thanks Lei for trusting her skills, while Lei responds that sarcasm is unnecessary and unwanted. Ren speaks to Yuichi, warning him about the consequences of arrogance and reminding him of his unfinished task, while Yuichi reacts with surprise and confusion. Yuichi Shiro struggles to sheath the sword Muramasa Masamune and demands to know why it won't return to its scabbard. Yuichi is on his knees under black rain, while Alicia stands and warns him not to get too cocky, mentioning Muramasa Masamune does not consider him its master. Alicia stands while addressing Yuichi, who is bent over and surrounded by dark energy, warning him he is merely a tool for killing urges and will be turned against if obstructive. Yuichi says he guesses the other would know best, while Alicia names sentient soul slayer, Lei Mistletoe. Yuichi sits on the ground while Sakura asks why he didn't protect her with his barrier, and he calls her an uncute brat. Elizabeth states that Muramasa Masamune is displeased about being denied a kill period, and Ren asks where it is currently located. Alicia tells Yuichi she is not usually indifferent and asks him not to label her so, then she admits only his danger makes an exception this time. Ran walks away, telling someone to wash their neck, while the other replies about having high standards of self-cleanliness, then Yuichi says, well then comma. A boy with headphones thinks the enemies are gone and realizes someone tried to kill Yuichi and Sakura, and now that person knows Yuichi is still alive. Sakura thinks about hurrying to Yuichi, determined not to let anyone harm her best friend. Alicia warns Yuichi that eavesdropping is not a good habit.